I want to talk to you a little bit about when you think about Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan, who's greater and what makes a superstar in that world?
That's a great question. Let's see. I think Hulk Hogan is one of the most easily recognized icons in the world. Everything, because also his size, his stature, that Fu Manchu, the long blonde hair. I mean, he's so iconic.
The orange and red.
Yeah. The red and yellow, actually. Red and yellow.
Ripping it off.
Yeah, the whole thing, the T-shirt, all of that. I mean, he really is one of the first ever, I think, truly global icons. And Ric Flair is arguably one of the greatest superstars ever in the history of our business. From a pure talent standpoint, I think that, even Hulk Hogan would say Ric Flair has me beat,
Wow.
many miles. Well, because our business is not just about the moves, right? It's about telling the story and sucking you in. And Hulk himself will say, like, look, I had maybe 3 moves, that was about it, but he could tell the story in the ring. Rick, he transcends our business in many different ways than I think Hulk Hogan does. And it feels like I'm maybe not picking one over the other, but I'm picking each one for different
I love them
realms.
both, so I don't care.
Yeah. So,
I would cry
but
as
I
a
know
kid
Rick
if either one of
is
them
going to
lost.
watch this.
Yeah.
And
Yes, he will.
Rick
He
is like
will.
texting me now, and I don't know how he's watching. but
Yes.
somehow.
He's always on top
Rick's
of it.
always
Yes.
watching.
He's always watching.
But,
He's
I
always
mean,
watching.
There's just, Ric Flair is one of the most lovable people and characters that you will ever encounter in your life. And I bet he knows pretty much everybody that there is to know in the sports and media world.
Talk about
Yeah.
charisma.
Yes.
Oh, he
Holy
does.
smokes.
Yep. And charisma is the number one factor for being a star in WWE
That's why
or in
you-
any other walk
That's why
of
you
life.
and I are not stars.
Well, I've always thought this, and I would imagine it's you can confirm it, but like the ability to speak and what a superstar is on the mic is more important than how they are as a wrestler. You can kind of learn how to get through the wrestling part, but that charisma that I want to watch what they have to say every single Monday night is what kind of takes them over the top.
That's right. Well, even if you aren't saying anything, charisma is just connection.
Yeah.
When you walk into a room, when you walk into an arena full of people, if they take notice of you, if you own that room, if you have that energy and you connect with them, that's what charisma is.
So did I have it when you walked in?
No comment.
Okay. All right.
And wait,
So-
last question.
And we should ask Paul that. Too.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
by the way,
I feel like I
later.
owned the room when
Yeah.
he came in.
I would've-
No, not about that. About
Oh.
building
We-
a
Yeah.
star.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought I was gonna get signed to a
We want to be
contract.
extra
Fuck.
nice because between we want to be extra nice to Steph because between Andre Giant
Yeah, I was about to be signed.
and
That was
Triple
my
H
moment.
behind her
Yeah.
right shoulder.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
we
was
don't want to
my
get beat up.
He's just
God damn
peering.
it.
We're just baseball players. We don't wrestle. But now the modern day Hulk Hogan is maybe a guy like Rock. How does his popularity compare to the two icons?
Oh, I think Rock, especially because with all the different platforms that exist today, I think Rock he's probably the number one most easily recognized WWE superstar of all time.
Wow. Saying a lot.
I mean, and people would debate that, so that's just my opinion. But Rock is everywhere, and not only is he a successful actor, he also runs $7 studios. He's an entrepreneur. He's an executive. He's a philanthropist. He does everything, and he motivates and encourages so many people, myself included. When you follow him on social media, when you look at what he's doing, he's always funny.
Right.
He's always charismatic, but it's always about hard work and determination and never giving up and believing in yourself and hustling all the time.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
don't believe him. I think some days he has a bad day and he just doesn't talk about
Well,
that.
I'm sure he has
Yeah,
bad days.
He's the good guy. He's
he
the good
actually
guy.
did talk
Yeah.
about going through depression.
Really?
Yeah, he's been public about that and the
Yeah.
importance of mental health.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
this
he
is Mental Health Awareness Month. the month
Yes,
of May,
absolutely.
so.
So the one thing I always found interesting, WWE, the fans are probably the most loyal vocal fans there are in anything.
Greatest fans in the world.
Right.
Most passionate fans in the world.
So how much, though, do you listen to them versus understand that they're so passionate that sometimes, complaints or getting upset at the product is a little over the top? Like, what's that balance like?
So you have to pick out the themes. right? They have such a loud voice. We have over 1 billion social media followers, and we are lucky enough to trend on Twitter every single week because our fans are so vocal and so engaged. Sometimes they like what we're doing. More often than not, they don't. And you do have to pull out the bigger themes. What are the bigger conversations? One of the best examples of listening to our audience successfully has been the Give Divas a Chance movement. Back in 2015, when we had branded our women's division the Divas division, and our women were getting, 30 seconds of match time. It was actually one match specifically, 30 seconds, women's tag team match. And our audience started a hashtag called Give Divas a Chance that trended worldwide for 3 days, specifically calling for longer matches, more athleticism, better character development, better storylines. And their voices were so loud that Vince himself responded, "We hear you, keep watching, hashtag Give Divas a Chance." So then strategically at WrestleMania, our biggest WrestleMania, over 101,000 people at AT&T Stadium.
In Dallas, right?
In Dallas, yep. Thank you. We had WWE Hall of Famer Lita go out and announce the rebranding of the Divas division to the women's division. She unveiled a new championship belt that was more akin to the men's, but still very feminine, and announced that our women would be called superstars, the same as the men. Since that time, we signed Rowdy Ronda Rousey. Our women have been more regularly headlining and main eventing. We had our first ever all-women's pay-per-view event called Evolution that trended #1 worldwide for over 2.5 hours during the last game of the World Series and Sunday Night Football.
Wow.
Okay, we'll edit the World Series part out.
That's fantastic.
No, but it doesn't
That's
stop
awful.
there. Women, for the first time in 35 years, headlined WrestleMania this past April at MetLife Stadium.
I love it.
And in terms of being a voice for change, in Abu Dhabi, over a year ago, our women were allowed to perform for the first time. And during their match, a chant broke out in the arena of men and women chanting, "This is hope."
That's awesome. Yeah.
And there were tears in the eyes of little girls.
And that all starts kind of from your fans.
That
saying,
starts from our
right.
fans.
So that's an unbelievable story. Is there a time when you guys have maybe not listened to your fans
I
and
think
made a mistake?
we're maybe not listening as closely as we want to be right about now.
Really?
Yeah.
How in what respect? Is that just the writing, or is it?
I just think that they're being very vocal and they're telling us exactly what they want. And sometimes, to your point earlier, it's not what you want to do because you're setting them up for something else.
Yeah, and it's the old Vince McMahon.
Exactly.
I know what the fans
Look over
want
here,
better
and
than
then
they do.
I'm gonna.
Right.
Well, but sometimes it's a setup for a payoff of something even bigger, and they just have to be patient. And sometimes we're not listening as well as we would like to.
Interesting.